back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing a spec comparison between the new OnePlus 12R and the LG V60. Yes, the legendary LG V60. We're going to be comparing the specs between the 12R and the V60 to see which one is better when it comes down to these specs. Yes, I know this is an older phone that is not supported anymore, but everybody still loves the V60. Everybody still uses it, and people like to see it go up against newer devices, newer flagships, mid-rangers, etc., to see exactly how their device holds up to the newer competition. So before we get started, consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it, you guys stopping by. And let's go ahead and get started. OnePlus 12R versus the LG V60. Let's go. Alright, so let's get down to this comparison. We got the legendary LG V60 versus the newer OnePlus 12R. So we're going to go on over the specs of these guys. That way you guys can see the differences between the two. So starting off with the LG V60 and the overall size. It's going to be 6.67 inches from top to bottom, 3.6 inches wide, and 0.35 inches thin or thick. This is a chunky boy. Comes in at a weight at about 7.51 ounces, covered with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and Gorilla Glass 6 on the rear with an aluminum frame. Very nice chamfered aluminum frame on the V60. You got IP68 dust and water resistance, and you have the MIL STD A10G compliant, which is going to be military drop resistance on here. But as we all know, this thing is made out of glass, so it will break, so don't go throwing your device at people. Go on over to the OnePlus 12R. So this has a dimension of 6.43 inches from top to bottom, 2.96 inches wide, and 0.35 inches thin. The weight comes in about 7.30 ounces. You got Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and on the back, and it is covered with an aluminum frame, and the frame actually looks matte and it looks really nice. Glass back, and it only has an IP rating of IP64 dust and water resistance, just because OnePlus does not want to have to pay for that IP68. But I'm sure with a good splash, you should be okay. Just don't go swimming with your device. So taking a look at these devices side by side, you can tell the differences between the two designs and see that one is definitely has an older design than the other. They're both glossy backs and going to be fingerprint magnets, which is kind of a shame. I kind of wish OnePlus and LG would have adopted the whole matte back finish. That would have been really nice. Going on over to the sides right here, you get the side buttons, all the buttons on one side on the OnePlus, while the LG you get your power button. Going on over to the other side, you get your alert slider on the OnePlus. The LG you get your Google Assistant and your volume rockers on the left hand side. Both USB Type-C on the bottom and your bottom firing speaker. SIM tray on the bottom of the OnePlus, and up top you get your SIM and micro SD card on the LG. So going on over to the displays, so the LG V60 has a 6.8 inch POLED display, supports HDR10 plus, and it has a resolution of 1080 by 2460. Has a pixel density of 395 pixels per inch. You do get an always on display with your information, your toggles, and things like that to play and pause music, with your under display optical fingerprint sensor on the OnePlus, on the LG V60. Going on over to the OnePlus 12R, you get a 6.78 inch LTPO4 AMOLED display, supports 1 billion colors, 120 Hz, HDR10 plus, Dolby Vision, and get to the peak brightness of 4500 nits. The LG V60, forgot to mention, is only a 60 Hz display. So going on over to the OnePlus, the resolution is going to be 1264 by 2780 with 450 pixels per inch on the OnePlus. So a little bit higher resolution than the LG V60. And of course, the refresh rate is going to be a lot higher than the V60 as well. Brightness, but the V60 is no slouch. The display still looks really good. And plus you have the option to have a dual display on the LG V60, which means you have the dual screen case to further extend your productivity on this device. And this will give you two displays to play around with, and they're both the same in resolution and specs when it comes down to this other display. And you have two displays to do pretty much anything you want on one, and then do whatever you want on the other one. So you could browse, YouTube over here, and you could browse social media on this side, which is absolutely fantastic. So really cool that LG offers the dual screen case for the V60. Now going on over to the operating system. So the LG V60 is stuck on Android 13 with no more security patches or OS updates, which is a shame, but it is what it is. LG is out of the game, and there are no support for the LG V60. You got the Snapdragon 865 5G over here, 8 GB of RAM, and 128 GB of internal storage that is expandable via micro SD card, so that is fantastic. You get the GPU is going to be the Adreno 650 GPU, and you have UFS 2.1 storage on the LG V60. Going on over to the OnePlus 12R, you are running Android 14 with Oxygen OS 14, and you get 5 years security patches and 4 years of OS security patches. So you're going to be supported a lot longer with the OnePlus 12R. You're running a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor over here, and you get 16 GB of RAM and 256 GB of non-expandable storage, UFS 3.1 as well, and the GPU is going to be Adreno 740 GPU. Now when it comes down to performance, the V60 is no slouch, but it only has 8 GB of RAM. While over here on the OnePlus, they are built on performance. This thing is fast, snappy, and is very, very quick when it comes down to editing video and playing games. Plus, you have that higher refresh rate, so it's a little bit more powerful over here on the OnePlus. But the LG is more of a steady powerhouse. It will not throttle down. You will not get any heating issues with the LG. It's going to be strong through and through when you're throwing stuff at it. It may not be the quickest, but it's still very powerful, and you're still going to be able to get everything done. When you're recording video, you're not going to get any devices too hot to record video on the V60. While over here on the OnePlus, you might. So V60, more of a powerhouse, can keep on going and take a licking and keep on ticking over here with the LG V60. Now going on over to the cameras. So the OnePlus has a main sensor of 50 megapixels, and it does support PDAF, laser autofocus, and optical image stabilization. The wide angle is going to be a 8 megapixel ultra wide, and the other sensor is going to be a useless 2 megapixel macro sensor. You can record up to 4K 60 frames per second on the rear of the OnePlus. The front facing camera is going to be a 16 megapixel, and you can only record up to 1080p 30 frames per second on the OnePlus's front facing camera. Now going on over to the V60, your rear facing cameras are going to be a main sensor of 64 megapixels, supports dual pixel PDAF and optical image stabilization, 13 megapixel ultra wide, and a 0.3 megapixel time of flight sensor for your depth sensing and your autofocus and things like that for the rear. And you can record up to 8K 30 frames per second along with your 4K 30 and 60 on the V60, so a little bit more higher resolution over here. Your front facing camera is going to be a 10 megapixel, and you still can record up to 4K 30 frames per second. So OnePlus, I don't know what you're doing giving us 1080p over here while the V60 can record 4K 30 frames per second on that front facing camera. I don't know what's going on. So as far as pictures go, I think everybody's going to lean more towards the naturalness of the V60, and the OnePlus pictures do come out brighter, but look a little bit more artificial, especially in the video area. It's not quite as colorful as the V60 would be. Everything just looks very bright and artificial on the OnePlus, but still very capable cameras on both. You do get a pro mode and a manual video mode on the LG V60, while over here on the OnePlus, you only get a pro mode for pictures, not video. So you get a little bit more versatility on the LG V60 over the OnePlus 12R. So yeah, you might be seeing some pictures comparing the two. Comment down below which ones you think look better. So far, here's some video showing off both the devices as well. That way you guys can see the differences between the two. Alright, so here is front-facing camera. LG V60 can record up to 4K 60 frames per second, while the OnePlus 12R can only do up to 1080p. So how does this look? Very cropped in on the LG, and here it is on the OnePlus. So yeah, how does this look? LG V60 versus OnePlus 12R front-facing footage. Let's continue on, shall we? Now, both of these devices do have stereo speakers. LG does have its own LG 3D surround sound engine on here with auto, cinema, music, and voice. While over here on the OnePlus, you get Dolby Atmos with smart movie, gaming, and music. The V60 does have a quad DAC with a 3.5mm headphone jack to listen to some very high quality audio if you have a good pair of headphones. While over here on the OnePlus, you do not get a headphone jack, but still Bluetooth is really good on both of these. Just keep in mind that the LG V60 can only do the quad DAC when you're using connected headphones, not Bluetooth. You can use a 3D surround sound engine on Bluetooth or speakers or anytime you want. While over here on Dolby Atmos, you can use it on anything. So both of these do sound really good when it comes down to the speaker quality. So let's go ahead and hear the differences between the two real quick. That way you guys get an idea of how each one of these sound.
Then I spend all on you.
Alright, so which one sounded better, the LG V60 or the OnePlus 12R? Comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. So over here on the V60, you get Wi-Fi 6 on the V60, Bluetooth 5.1, and over here on the OnePlus, you get Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.3. You get USB Type-C 2.0 over here on the OnePlus. And I don't know, both of these devices are really good and fast and snappy. And I think you'd be happy with the performance of either one of these. So as far as battery goes, the LG V60 has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery with 25 watt charging and 15 watt wireless charging. You can also do reverse wireless charging on here on the V60 as well. And you also did get this with the charger if you were able to buy this when it was new. Came with a charger and everything. OnePlus over here does have a 5,500 milliamp hour battery with 80 watt super VOOC charging. And so yeah, battery life on both of these, you don't get any wireless charging on the OnePlus 12R. Just keep that in mind. So, but you are getting that fast wire charging, which might be better, and a lot of people don't care because they have that fast wired charging. You're not going to be charging this device as often as you would the V60. Now, don't get me wrong, these are both all-day devices. It's just the OnePlus might last just a little bit longer, just because the chipset is a little bit more efficient over here. But then the V60 does have a lower resolution display and a lower refresh rate, so it's not going to be sucking up as much power. But definitely all-day devices, depending on your usage, the OnePlus might get you through a little bit more on that second day over the V60, but still very good on battery life in my book. As long as my device lasts me all day, I'm happy and I have no issues with it. So as far as colors go, the LG V60 did come in classy blue and classy white. This is the classy blue color, obviously, while over here it got iron gray and cool blue. This is the cool blue of the OnePlus 12R. So let me know which blue you think looks the best. Of course, right now they are pretty grimy, and I just started this video. Again, I hate this glossy back. And which one do you think looks better? So as far as fingerprint sensors, I think they both work well. The OnePlus definitely going to be a lot quicker than the LG V60. The V60's fingerprint sensor has always been slow. You don't get any facial recognition on the LG V60, but you do over here on the OnePlus. And as you can see, the locations, the OnePlus fingerprint sensor is a little bit higher up, while the V60 is a little bit lower down. And that can be a little bit awkward just because the V60 is so heavy and top heavy that having a lower fingerprint sensor is a little bit scary, but they both work fine. It's just you get facial recognition over here. You don't get facial recognition on the LG. And you do also have a little bit thicker bezels on the LG V60 compared to the OnePlus 12R. And you also get a water drop notch over here on the V60, while you get a hole punch cutout over here on the 12R. So to each his own on that. The V60 is a flat display. OnePlus 12R is going to be a curved display. And you also get the alert slider on the OnePlus 12R. So that's nice when silencing your phone. And you don't even have to look at it. You go to from silent, vibrate, and ring. And you also get an IR blaster on the OnePlus 12R. While the V60, you do not get an IR blaster. You do get that Google Assistant button on the side. So what do you guys think of this comparison between the LG V60 and the OnePlus 12R? Which one will you guys be checking out or picking up if you want to get one of these? Personally, I think the prices on both of these are great. The V60 can be found for well under $200, while the OnePlus over here, a little bit higher, $499 can be found, but you are getting higher specs on the OnePlus, while over here on the V60, you're getting a little bit better cameras and you're getting wireless charging. But you're losing out on the updates, no more updates and no more security patches on the V60. So to each his own, they're both very durable. I think the V60 is a little bit more of a tank than the OnePlus and can take a licking and keep on ticking over here, while the OnePlus might be a little bit more sensitive, but just one is updated and one is not. So depending on your current situation as far as money goes, to each his own, and check these out. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of comparison between the LG V60 and the OnePlus 12R. You guys stay safe out there. Peace.